Welcome to the Dr. Margo Show. We're so glad to have you today in the studio. I have my good friend Jim Schmidt, and he is the ambassador of the Nsca, and we're going to talk a lot about that today, what the Nsca, what his role is. Welcome to the show, Jim. We're glad to have you.
Thank you, Margo. We go back a long way.
Yes, we do. A long way. Armadillo, Jim, that's what we best know you for.
Right. No hat today, no armadillo, because I'm representing the Nsca, the National School Chaplain Association. And you and I have morphed our children's ministry to come together for such a time as this.
Yes.
Isn't it great?
Yes, it is so great. I'm so excited about what God is doing and what God's doing through the Nsca. So let's get right to it. Let's talk about, I'm sure everybody is like, what is the Nsca? So start us off there. What is it and what are you doing?
I would like to redefine the Nsca as a move of God with God's presence back on America's public school campuses.
Wow.
National School Chaplain Association. Success in South America in 13 nations, 25 million encounters with chaplains there, and then the founders, the CEO, Rocky Malloy and Yoski Malloy, who were missionaries there for many years, had babies during the Sandinista War, die in their arms, and then they started getting into schools, and then for 25 years they ministered in the schools as chaplains, trained other chaplains, and then 4 years ago they heard the breath of God say, "Now in America." And when they got back, they had a divine appointment in Texas. Within 9 months, Texas passed the bill. We can talk about that. We don't need a bill, but they passed a bill to fund it, because after the Uvalde shooting, where many lost their lives, Texas looked and said, let's get some funding to put more safety on campus, and they had money for that because chaplains bring safety. So Texas passed the bill, the first one, and your wonderful state of Florida passed it.
Yes, they did.
But we don't need a bill. We're running because God has called us to this, and schools need help.
Yeah, and so you've said that several times. I've heard you say it in the chapter meetings that we don't need a bill. Why do you say that?
Because it's been legal for over 250 years.
Yeah.
General Washington.
I don't think people knew that.
That's why we're on this podcast, because you're going to inform your constituents.
I know it.
General Washington had chaplains, and they've been legal in the United States of America even before the Revolution. And we have paid U.S. military federal employees that are called chaplains by the thousands in our military. And we have them in every other government site, venue, campus, and institution, except, until now, we have chaplains in America's public schools.
Wow.
Isn't that a great move of God?
Wow.
And aren't you honored with your children's ministry background and mine to be part of this?
Yeah.
But he's been getting us ready for such a time as this. And you've been becoming certified, I understand.
Yes, I've been. I went through the free program. That's what everybody does. Is you recommended that I go to the website. You'll tell us about that in a minute. And you go through the free, and then you go into certification. You'll tell us about that. And because you have to be certified. And I have just loved it. I've loved learning about what it means. I really, truly, that's why we're here, because so many, just even in my chapter, and I'm not even in Florida yet, because I live in Tulsa in Oklahoma, and I'm moving to Florida, and I've taken the chapter, and haven't even named the chapter yet. I've said, hey, can we name it the Gulf Coast? And you said, well, how about, you said
the beach and sandals chapter.
I know you said that. I'm like, no, we're not. Then I said the
chapter.
Gulf of America. Yeah, the Gulf of America, because of the president, And then so we haven't really even named it yet. But I have people calling me from Florida and saying, hey, can I be a part of your chapter?
This is a move of God. And when people are listening to the Holy Spirit, they're jumping in. I had calls yesterday from Branson, Orlando, I think Pittsburgh related, Lubbock, Texas. We're all starting chapters everywhere, just like the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, the Knights of Columbus, JCs. They all have local chapters. So we're going to have chapters, we're having chapters of the National School Chaplain Association to build organically and have a local community. And you've been coming to the Tulsa lunches and learning a lot about our brochure and what chaplains do and say.
Yeah, and so a big part of this, the reason why we're having this podcast is because so many questions are being asked. I don't know all the answers. You know a lot. So here we go. Tell us more about how you get certified. What is what is the chaplaincy all about?
And really, I guess the first one is, what is a chaplain? And a chaplain is someone who represents God with the ministry of presence wherever they are. And so God is back on America's campuses through chaplains who have been certified and trained to represent God in the most unique way, to be first and foremost present. And Margo, I asked you once, and I'll ask you again, have you ever been driving, and you come over the top of a hill and there's a cop there? What's the first thing you normally do?
Well, take your foot off, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, why is that?
Well, because you don't want to get a ticket.
Well, but maybe you weren't speeding. You're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, you're going to do it.
It's called presence.
Yes.
And when a chaplain who represents God is present on campus, do you know we've had no suicides where a chaplain is present? Do you know there's higher teacher retention? We can talk about all these things, but basically it just stops the stupid. It stops the activity that the enemy has been trying to do. Maybe that drug dealer that day that was going to do a deal, or somebody was going to do something nefarious, but they're like, wait a minute, there's a chaplain here. It makes such a big difference. Just the ministry of presence will change the entire dynamic of a school. And can you imagine nationwide chaplains, what our next 12 years of education are going to look like?
I believe it, because our mental health, it is way past needing help.
We are trained, but we're not mental health specialists.
Right.
But the mental health specialists and the counselors love us being on campus, because we're there to be another arm, another tool to help. And as a matter of fact, there was a Dr. Lisa Miller did a study. She was a Columbia University professor. She was hired by the last administration to study chaplaincy, and they were hoping to kind of realize we need to phase out chaplaincy. She was not a believer in God or anything spiritual. When she started studying chaplains and interviewing chaplains and going into the military and following chaplains and see what they do everywhere, she became a believer, at least in spirituality and chaplains. And then she wrote a book called The Awakened Brain, Why Spirituality Matters. And so do you want to know where mental health, most of it comes from? No spiritual anchor. And so these people are over there going to their soul, and there's nothing in their spirit that can feed them. Remember, the mind is the referee.
Yes.
And we have a body and the soul, and that soul has nowhere to glean from. It doesn't have any spiritual nourishment or spiritual food, but a chaplain can bring that to a teacher who's going through a divorce, to a teacher who might have got slapped by the spouse that morning on the way to school, to a teacher who doesn't want to admit that I'm not making it by on my salary and I'm a single mom and I've got 2 kids. What can I do?
Yes.
Spirituality means everything to these people, but that connection to God is the foremost thing we can bring them.
Wow. It's so true.
Yeah.
So our presence, I just love that, that it is just bringing presence into the school. So I've had a lot of people ask me, can other chaplains, if they have, if they've gone through other chaplain programs, can they be a part of this program? Can they come in and be a part of our program?
We think that's the best candidate right there. And people who are already inside a school, whether it be a coach, whether it be a teacher, whether it be a bus driver, why don't they become chaplains? They already have so much connection to the school. But if you're already a chaplain, yes, you take the shortcut, because there's going to be certain classes you won't need. But we are very strict about our chaplains. You've got to have 2,000 hours of ministry training, or a letter from your pastor, and that everything is in good standing. You get a cyber background check. We are not just letting anyone get into these schools, because this is our most...
That's right.
I mean, our children, what's been happening to them, they let anybody get to them. They're reading all kind of books and everything, and you're like, whoa, no, chaplains aren't going to be... We are certified to know how to minister and represent God first to the teacher and the principals, the school board, the staff, the bus drivers, and the students. So we're pretty strict about that.
Yeah, and also, because when just to go into the program, I had to go through a background check. I had a list of
everything good.
Yes, I did.
Okay, good.
Yes, everything passed well, and but I had to have, they had to go through my ministry and all of those things, and my volunteer work, and so. And I've had people ask me, well, I haven't been a minister, but plenty of volunteer work. I told the people that asked me, I said, you've had plenty of church volunteer work, plenty of work in schools and charities and things like that. So those are things that count, right?
100%. And there's a lot of people that are maybe in that early retirement mode. They're our most precious resource in terms of experience, and many of them have been head ushers, they've been on finance committees, they've been around the pastors, they've worked as a volunteer in youth ministry, volunteered to go to the summer camps and drive the bus, and there's all kind of hours that qualify, and yet they're sitting over there going, I wonder what I can do with my retirement years. And you're like, go one day a week. You don't have to be a full-time chaplain. Go just one day a week.
Yeah.
Every Monday they're going to say, oh, there's Chaplain Joe, Chaplain Jane, here they are. And we've got people like that all over Texas doing that. Part-time, volunteer, full-time, paid. It's going to be all across America come sometime early this year.
Yeah, because my sister, she's an RN. She's been an RN for 40 years.
Perfect.
Oh, I know.
So she's got all the hours that
Yes.
it takes to deal with people. Now she just needs some ministry training because we have, and she already has this, the Stop the Bleed, assess the threat,
Right.
those kind of things. So that's a little extra we have, and I would encourage anybody. I mean, if they've got a CDA license or anything, you bring that to the table in case of an emergency. You know how to drive a bus off, but we're not just training to walk around on a campus. We want you to know how to cut the gas off, where the fire extinguisher is. Know some of these practical things so you're an extra pair of hands and eyeballs and ears on campus to help the school move further, so that our education program can be both spiritual, mental, and physical.
I was talking to one of the chaplains that is over in the Ozarks, and he was talking about how that his the schools and where he goes just loves him because he knows how to do so much, just not just his presence there, but to help them in times of crisis, times of need, times to help them. So it's not just, not just walking, but going and helping and being a help to people that maybe need you,
I love that you're using the word help, because that is the word. When we tried to define chaplains earlier, it's someone who helps. And that's what's so important. If I had a national billboard campaign, it would simply say, you're driving down the freeway, I-10, you're going to Destin, Florida, where you're going to be at the beach, and I'm seeing billboards that say, chaplains help. That is a simple statement. That's what they do. And so anybody that would be against it, you'd be like, why? They help in teacher retention. They help reduce suicide. They help the bus drivers take stress off and pray for them possibly before they go out on their route in the busiest, most dangerous areas of America, and they're carrying our most precious cargo, and they might have had a stressful weekend. Why don't you, chaplain, be at the bus barn Monday morning and bring some breakfast tacos and pray for all the drivers? That is called chaplain's help. And that's what you're about to do, Margo. And you're going to have a chapter, and you're going to meet with the police chaplain. You're going to meet with the fire chaplain. You're going to meet with all these people, and you're going to form a consortium of like-minded people who just want to go improve our schools.
I've had the women that have just asked, could they, go to the schools, and could they, bring lunch and go sit in, be a part of the lunch times with the children or with the teachers. Can they just talk a little bit about that. Maybe I think that sometimes that with my chapters and with the people that are coming on my team, they said that it was just like, well, what do we do? What are the things that you do, Jim? Like when you go to the schools, what do you do? Do you walk? Do you walk the halls? Do you pray? Do you bring food? Do you sit in? Talk about a little bit about that.
One of our team was in a public school for 12 years, and there was a certain amount of young ladies who were talking, kind of whispering, and he listened and found out, y'all aren't going to the prom? And they said, we can't afford dresses. That's the only reason you're not going, but we're going to have our own party. So now there's this alcohol-free prom, and they can't go to the most memorable event in their young life because they couldn't afford it. Well, that chaplain went out and found prom dresses within the community and got churches behind them, and they loved it. Chaplains help. They looked among the student body of 800, and always people were coming to his room because he always had snacks and things. And finally he started asking questions. 90 of the students hadn't eaten since Friday afternoon, lunch. He found Meals on Wheels and got Meals on Wheels to those families on the weekend because Dad wasn't there. Dad might have been in prison. Mom was working full time, and the children, and this was a high school, had nothing to eat from Friday afternoon, didn't have any money. Had to go to a friend's house, beg, borrow, whatever. So he started doing Meals on Wheels to those families on the weekend. One did an extreme teacher lounge makeover. You talk about teachers loving you. The chaplain leads it and goes, where's y'all's teacher lounge? He goes, they put the Coke machines in there, a bunch of chairs. We don't have anywhere. We got to eat at our desk. Well, we're going to change this. Got the community together, over $72,000, and they did an extreme teacher lounge makeover. It's the favorite school in Tulsa, Oklahoma, because they loved on teachers. We have chaplains bringing chocolate as a back-to-school gift to all of the female teachers and saying, thank you for serving our students. I'm chaplain so-and-so, and welcome back to school. And here's a piece of chocolate for them. And here's my business card. Call me if you need anything. And so I went recently as a chaplain. I went to see a favorite public school here in town. I went to see the principal, knew all about us, and invited me in, prayed with the principal, and then says, hey, it's lunchtime. Why don't you go down to the teacher's lounge and schmooze around a little bit? Ended up talking to the teachers, loving on them. Got invited by a parent that says, we don't have a chaplain in our school or anything, but can you come and just have lunch with me and my daughters? I went, of course. Well, you go to the school and have lunch with the parent because you're invited. You don't have to have like a school district, way to, because chaplains help. Margo, chaplains help. We should be doing this everywhere. The military does it. Why aren't we doing it in schools?
That is awesome.
We've been lied to. We've been lied to say that you can't do this, or religion or whatever. This had nothing to do with that. Chaplains help. They're there as a spiritual component because we know the research says you have to have it or you go crazy. We'll have all this mental health issues. So when you separate that, and then as educators, I'm not coming down on them, but in Joshua 1:8 it says, this book of the law shall not depart out of my mouth, except I shall meditate on it day and night. And then it gives you all the success principles. You'll find some prosperity and all those things. We're not going to have any prosperity in our public schools unless you give them the Word of God. And to deny them the free exercise thereof, we're not talking about chaplains going in to lead Bible studies or teach or anything, but to be God's presence so that when a student or a teacher comes and goes, man, I'm going through this, you think, oh, God is in this. Mm-hmm. And then they're asked, the chaplain, will you pray for me? Mm-hmm. Those kind of things. We're not there to proselytize. That's not what a chaplain does. A chaplain is there to help.
And I did know that we just, let's see, was it the bill that said that the 10 Commandments could go back into schools? So I know that happened in the state of Oklahoma, that the 10 Commandments could go because it was it is the foundation of our teaching, our history, and so that is an important part of history in the just in our education.
It's part of our American culture.
It is a
as
part
well,
of our
as
American.
well as the Bible. Now we don't separate ourselves from that, but we are simply going in as chaplains. I mean, if they can help organize a Bible club, that's great. That's not our agenda. If we
Right.
can get the 10 Commandments, that's not our agenda. Our agenda is to be there as chaplains, to be support for the teacher who needs it. Did you know all the threats against teachers last year? I think there was over 1 million incidents of violence and threats of violence to America's
Really?
teachers. Do you know why they're retiring so quickly? And our most cherished, our most experiences are like, I'm out of here. Or I'm going to go to private education, or I'm going to that parochial school or Christian school. They're not, they have their problems too, but they're like, I'm not getting any support here. And they're supposed to be there to teach, and they're wondering if they're going to have a knife pulled on them or something. They want to be able to talk to somebody, and if they talk to their peer, they might appear weak. But if they can talk to a chaplain, at least they can relieve some of their frustration and their fear and what's going on, and the chaplain can pray for them. So chaplains are so needed, especially for our teachers who are, like I said, they're under threats of violence, and they're testing as high as military on PTSD right now in some of our urban schools because they're seeing the fights and the violence, and you're like, what's the answer?
I can believe that. And, I told you that I really wanted to give my testimony about just being a children's pastor at the church that I just recently was at. I just officially trained a new children's pastor. And but the children that I was in the children's pastor at, 80% of the children in my children's church came from homes of at least one parent, if not both, were incarcerated or were in drug addiction, or they were in DHS. The children were in DHS or had just come out of DHS. So I had thought about, how many of those children are in school every day, and how important it is that they have somebody to talk to if they need to, and the presence of chaplains in that school, and just having somebody to talk to, and, that we're there if they need us, if they need us at lunch, if they don't have lunch. I know that some of them don't have lunch.
Margo,
I was there.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you brought that up, because 5,000 children today will lose a parent through death, divorce, abuse, or a parent going to prison. They'll lose them. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, in some of those, in the abuse situation and in the imprisonment, incarceration, it's compounded because then they have to lie. They say, "Oh, well, my dad, he went to Texas. Mm-hmm. He's working down there," when he knows he's in prison, but he's too embarrassed.
Right.
But he or she could talk to a chaplain about it. A child is being abused. Who do they go to? Mm-hmm. They don't want to tell a friend. They don't tell the teacher. But a chaplain is a safe person to tell. Now, the chaplain will have to report that, of course, because we're certified and have to do all the legal things. But can you imagine, Margo, 5,000 children today, and then tomorrow another 5,000 will lose a parent through death, divorce, abuse, or a parent going to prison. And we're over there, counselors help, but they give them no spiritual guidance, that God is still in this, that God still loves you, that God didn't abuse you, that was an abuser, that you're God's child. A teacher going through a divorce. Hey, maybe the chaplain's been through it. You never know. None of us are perfect, and you just over there and minister to that person. Because teachers and peers, they don't want to go up, because what if they're up for being an associate principal next year, but they can't deal with this thing, and they don't want to share it with anybody, that their family's going through this.
Right.
They can do it. They can share it with a chaplain.
Right.
What a wonderful opportunity to change America's schools through chaplaincy. And I'm curious, how are you going to build your chapter? You got some plans?
Well, that's a good question, because it's actually been pretty easy. It hasn't been hard. I was like, all of a sudden, everybody just started coming. And, all of a sudden I've already had a Zoom meeting, And everybody got on it, and all of a sudden people started asking questions, and I'm like, Jim, help, And we're getting ready to have another Zoom meeting, and I'm going to answer more questions, after we have this whole podcast. I'm going to send them this. And
you see, like in Tulsa, when you get to Destin and you have your beach and sandals club or whatever it is, you find a place to have a lunch, because the fellowship is so important to have that energy, and iron sharpen iron. Because in Tulsa, we're getting some big numbers. It's not about numbers, but we're having police chaplain. We're having pastors come to catch the vision. Most of them are like, I can do something in school. Go, pastor. The average pastor reaches 120 families in America, and chaplains reach 800. Why don't you get your people trained and have somebody from your church to be a certified chaplain? Now you've extended your ministry to where God has called you to fish, where the pond is the biggest, and they're biting and they're waiting for the hook to be dropped. Yeah. No more of this. I think the move of God is very little more come here to my campus. I think he's saying, go ye, and we're finally responding. And it sounds like you're getting a lot of Joshua and Caleb's to say, hey, there's a lot of fruit in that land that we used to call giants. And the giants have tumbled because we found all the legal precedents, we found all of the backbone, we found the funding, and we're putting chaplains in America's public school because chaplains help.
Okay, so Jim, if somebody wants to reach out to the NSCA, and where would they go? I know we have a website that they all need to, and you've got a brochure, so maybe you want to show it, but where should they go?
It's so easy. Everything's online. Your training's online, and you don't have to remember, was it NAC, NSC, what is it? You can go to campuschaplains.org.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Campuschaplains.org, or you can go to the National School Chaplain Association. Anything you Google now about National School Chaplains or anything like that, those letters will come up first, because we've been out here, we've been in America for 4 years now. This is definitely a move of God. People can become ambassadors, like I'm an ambassador, go to radio stations, talk about it, get educated. Well, I don't really feel qualified or really want to be a chaplain, but I am on my city council. Can I become an ambassador? Yes, please. Go to the website, learn all you can, and become an ambassador for us. Sponsorships, get companies to get behind us. We had a big businessman in Florida that helped get us all going, getting the bill funded there, getting it all done, because it takes finances as well. And so people can go online, they can donate, but campuschaplains.org. But to start a local chapter, it's not going to cost you anything. People can come buy their own lunch and look. And now certification has a fee, but you feel like it's worth it, don't you?
I do feel like it's worth it. And like you said, it does cost. But
how much? What is it currently? Do you know?
It's $900.
Well, it's $2,000 to go on a mission trip for a week, but it's $900 to go to a mission field for a lifetime.
Yeah, it's a lifetime.
It is. That's nothing. And your church, nothing. Go to your pastor and say, I want to become a certified chaplain. This is what I believe God is calling me. And I would bet that the pastor would say, well, what's it cost? Can we sponsor you? Can we help you?
I actually had somebody sponsor me.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. All right. So
yeah,
that should be the easy part. Once you cast the vision that, pastor, And
I wasn't even looking for it. I just had somebody sponsor me, and I said, sure.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So there's so many ways. And once you get certified, then you qualify to become a chapter leader. And then the chapter leader begins to recruit more people in the community, have lunch meetings. I've
already recruited 2 people. My sister and I just started talking about it. Mm-hmm. My excitement about it and me talking about it, she ended up texting me and saying, hey, could I sit down and talk to you about being a chaplain in Alabama?
Wow.
And then I had a pastor and his church. I haven't even talked to you about this.
No.
In Texas.
Okay. Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I forgot to tell you about it.
We're growing organically in the Spirit. We really are. The Holy Spirit is behind this. And you asked earlier about the cross chaplaincy. You can have a school resource officer, a coach, maybe a fire chaplain or a hospital chaplain that says, hey, I can also be a certified school chaplain. I wonder what all qualifies to go online. campuschaplains.org. Look at it, go through the free training first, and then get registered, and then see what programs you've already heard, what kind of classes you've already taken. Well, you're going to be way to the front of the line if you're already a chaplain for some other organization. Southern Baptist Convention is all on board with us. We love that. They're the number one in chaplaincy in the world, everywhere, and especially in disaster relief. Well, why wouldn't they train to become certified school chaplains? They already have so much of the training.
Right.
And so in the Gulf Coast, you're going to have chaplains available for the school that's also there for disaster. So it's so exciting to be part of this. I just wake up in the morning and go, God, thank you. Please mark my steps today and let me be on Dr. Margo's show so we can share this around the world.
I know it. So it says here in the brochure ways that you can get involved. So one more time, I know you said a little bit about it. So in the brochure, it says there's 3 ways that you can get involved. Do you want to talk about that just a few minutes? Because there is financial support that you can get involved. And you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, we have corporations coming online, individual donors that help, that know that we need these shirts. You got to order them ahead of time so that when you become a chaplain, you can have this and your badge. So that all costs money. To run the organization costs money. We've got a national outreach director. I'm an ambassador. God takes care of my salary. My wife and I travel across the nation. We got to go to 20 state capitals. Traveled. We had a donor that helped us do part of that, and then some of our retirement, because I believe it's worth it. And then so we need donors, and then of course we need people to become ambassadors to go to their local
companies. Paper. So what you're saying is companies or businesses, small business owners, can be sponsors and support. So in a chapter.
They sponsor little leagues all the time. They sponsor things
that's good.
All the time.
You're right.
So why are they doing that? Because they know that sports builds character. Well, why wouldn't they sponsor a chaplain so that their future employee has met a chaplain and perhaps met God, met Christ in a school, so that one day when they hire him, it's the best investment a business can make in America right now.
Wow.
It's a whole generational change. It's a shift, Margo. So it's a wonderful investment. There's grantors that know how to write grants, and then we just believe that eventually, just like we're getting military chaplains paid, we're there. We're almost there.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost there. Okay, so there's ways that you can get involved, and not just being a chaplain, becoming a chaplain, so if somebody does want to become a chaplain,
you know how to do it. You know how to do it. What were the steps? You went to the website?
You go to the website, and first of all, it's free to just even look at how to get involved.
Exactly.
And you go through it. And I want people to not get scared that going through that free part, that free course, it kind of, some people they'd go, oh, do you have to like, this is full time? It's not full time. You don't have to be full time, and you can be. Mm-hmm. If you're retired and you're looking for that, you don't have to be full time, but you can be a part of the organization. You can be a part of the chapter. You can come and go as you want to. You can be a part of what we're doing.
Margo, what if you just become a certified chaplain and you just go to the sporting events? What if you become or just go to, if there's a disaster or tragedy at school or something, or there's a bus wreck, they're going to call you first. You're certified.
Yeah, you're certified. Exactly. And
what a great investment.
just like, it's almost like it reminds me of the Red Cross. People don't just live at the Red Cross. They don't just like full time at the Red, but when there's a disaster, people take off for a week. And
we're having a disaster in schools every day.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
I told you about the 5,000 that lose a parent every day, but how about all those kids that just can't even afford a meal?
It's true.
The chaplain will go and help, and that's some of our biggest testimonies, is that they're looking for food for those hungry students because they hadn't eaten in a day or two. They could see it. The chaplains will see it.
I think that we just don't get it, Jim, that really and truly kids are not eating.
Yeah, that's a big one. And teachers are there to teach. If we'll relieve some of those problems, those social issues, all the things that go on in schools, and let the chaplain help, I'm there to coach. The coach will finally say, maybe I'll win some games because I've had all these issues of doing other things, for having to pick up my student, having to get them lunch, all this thing. That's what chaplains are there to do, to help and find the resources. And a chaplain is going to have people know what this word is, a Rolodex of all the community leaders and how they can help, because that's their role, is to help. That's not a teacher's job, is to know everybody else, and they're going to know the hospital.
Well, the teachers are just trying to get the kids educated, and that is a full-time, more than a full-time job for them, and it's hard enough to be able to get them educated. So they're not having time to take care of their mental health.
Exactly.
And so they need assistance. They need our help.
Teachers love chaplains. They really want us.
And so, we need to come and help, and they need our support, and they need us to walk alongside them.
Isn't this a great move of God? Isn't it something so exciting to talk about and be part of? And somebody's going to be listening, watching this podcast, Margo. And we were on several national television shows, and we had so many action steps. People picked up the phone, or they went to the website. Our certified chaplain now in Orlando saw it on television, saw it on a podcast. Same with Branson. All these places, they're like, God will speak to you. Just listen to the Holy Spirit and say, God, am I supposed to be a chaplain, certified, trained, part-time, full-time? What's my role right now? This is an opportunity of a lifetime for anybody who cares about our schools, our teachers, and our students.
Kids are at school a long time, Jim.
Wow.
During the day.
I know it. This is where, and I just believe that churches are waking up to saying, hey, it's not about my campus anymore. It's about that campus across the street. And God is opening the door for me and getting involved, becoming the Joshua and Caleb to say, we are well able to do this. And we are. We really are.
We really are. Well, Jim, this has been a great time with you. And is there anything else that you feel like that? Let's one more time. Can you give the website?
I will.
Name one more time.
It's National School Chaplain Association, and the easy, correct way is to go to campuschaplains.org. And like the poster behind me says, hope and courage is going to really change America. And it's not going to be led by politicians or any other way except by the Spirit of God. Just like our nation was formed, it was by the Spirit of God, and we signed something on that Mayflower that committed this country. And in this 250th birthday year, wouldn't it be great to honor God, to bring our schools back to God? And we can do it through Campus Chaplains.
Thank you, Jim. It's been great. Thank you. If you want to know anything else, go to the website. We would love to have you be a part and get involved. And if you don't get involved, pray.
Yes.
Pray.
Thank you, Margo. Yes.
Pray for your schools. Pray for your state. Pray for your country. Pray for your president. And we love you. God bless you. It's great to have you listen to the show. God bless you. And thank you for listening to the Dr. Margo Show. God bless you.